Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and today I wanted to show you the Advanced Armory suite of HeroQuest homebrew tools and assets. All kinds of varied card decks and manuals and booklets designed for you to be able to add new elements to your 1 to 5 player tabletop dungeon crawling games. I have a sampling of products here sent to me very kindly by Flashhammer Creative Studios, the brilliant minds behind the Advanced Armory system. In a nutshell, Advanced Armory provides you with items like the Alchemist Shop, the Dreadening deck, the Advanced Armory Essentials box, Hero Draft, and more. In this video, I'm going to explore how we can use this system as a sort of rules overlay to our favorite tabletop dungeon crawlers. I'll let the guidebook and the materials and matching book explain things much better than I ever could. We'll go over a lot of the different cards to show you exactly what they are, and be opening up this beast, and we'll also be opening up my pack of Hero Draft booster cards. Big shout out to Flashhammer Creative Studios. Thank you very much for sending me all this cool stuff to check out. So let's dig in, brave heroes. First of all, the guidebook puts this better than I ever could, so I'm going to read from it verbatim for just a second. Rules. There is only one rule. This is your game. Play it your way. Please use Advanced Armory however it will bring you the most joy, excitement, and satisfaction in your adventures. So we're starting off on the right foot, the greatest foot of all, in opening the first page of the guidebook. Designer notes, the original concept for these cards was to appeal to kids, newbies, casuals, and all manner of visual learners. We've done our best to create a primarily visual card design. Almost all basic game information is communicated through icons and visual cues. Any game mechanics or systems that require more nuanced or detailed explanation can be easily referenced in this document. Rather than delve into the minutiae of every type of weapon, shield, and armor in the fantasy genre, the Advanced Armory expands on existing game mechanics of the equipment you know and love. This expansion adds some tasteful but simple options. The complete set has many variations of most weapons and armor, so you shouldn't ever need to print or purchase more than one set. And finally, the aesthetic of the art was chosen to synergize with the modern style of fantasy art that many of the younger members of our community have grown up with. The influence of comics, PC gaming, and mobile gaming is evident, and we've leaned into this to provide an attractive and satisfying product that will appeal to as many of us as possible. Now, I've looked at all of this stuff beforehand, and I can agree with everything that's being said here. This is a pretty great way to introduce an overlay sort of rules system for your game. And yes, I can see this working perfectly with HeroQuest. So I'll keep HeroQuest kind of in mind and use it for reference or for example purposes, but after kind of looking through my catalog of board games, I can tell that this could be easily implementable into a game like Dragon Strike or Descent, Dark World, or any of the Dungeons & Dragons WizKid adventure system games like The Legend of Drizzt or Wrath of Ashardalon. You could even find a way to get these into Warhammer Quest or Talisman. Any game, virtually any game, that has combat, and especially those games that use combat on a grid. Alright, so to begin with, what I want to show you first is the materials and matching book. This book describes and explains the concept of matching materials in order to craft armor sets, and it explains a lot of different kind of mystical metals that can be used to grant your heroes very specific buffs. There's a lot of really cool stuff in here, really great ideas that you can take and basically pull from as inspiration for your own homebrew ideas for any of the games that you're playing. There's Bloodsteel, which really appeals, I would say, to anybody who wants to play as a vampire, yet a vampire hero. This gear set allows you to become undead and gain the Vampiric Thirst armor spell card. But my favorite has to be Lava Steel, and this is why. When you attempt to equip your first Lava Steel item, the metal must first decide if it likes you or not. Call out odd or even, then roll a d6. If you roll what you called, then the item accepts you, and you may equip it. If you roll opposite what you called, you take 1 point of fire damage, and the item returns to your inventory. Once you have successfully equipped any one Lava Steel item, this material will no longer burn you, and any additional matching items may be equipped without being tested again. That is so metal. I mean, not metal like in the material, but metal as in like the music genre. But it's also the material. Never mind. All right, so in order of what I would consider possibly least to most exciting, all of these systems are really, really cool. Let's look at the Alchemist Shop cards first. You get a bunch in a deck. Mostly these are just consumables that your heroes can find, as well as either a buy or sell price, depending on how you want to use that. At the bottom of the card, it is the value of the item. These potions of healing restore up to D6 body points. Next, we have potions of defense, which give you 2 extra dice the next time you defend. And you'll notice that the verbiage here, the terminology, is kept pretty vague. They don't say what kind of dice, so it really can adapt to the game that you're playing. For the purposes of HeroQuest, we would use 2 additional combat dice to defend. A potion of strength, which gives you 2 extra dice the next time you attack. Minor potion of healing, something I love called the Last Chance Potion, cheap and easy to brew. This potion comes in a single serve vial. Drink its crimson liquid at any time to restore 1 lost body point up to your maximum limit. Discard after use. Drink anytime at all. Your turn, evil wizard player's turn, whatever you want to do. Potion of battle, potion of magic, potion of speed, potion of the north wind. All of these are here, right? All of the basics are here to really supplement your game. Potion of icy resolve. You even get a couple of more situational items, such as hearth wine. This palm-sized flask is warm to the touch. Drink immediately after taking ice damage from spells, terrain, or other sources. And it restores 2 lost body points. All right, you probably thought I was going to open up this last, but actually, because I am an evil wizard player almost exclusively, the deck that is meant for my use will come last, because that is the one that is most exciting for me. However, this is really great. Just a look at the back. This 90-card starter deck contains an assortment of 84 cards, sampling from every subset of the Advanced Armory collection, as well as 6 potion cards from the Alchemist Shop. It is enough to fully stock your local armory, giving all of your heroes a healthy selection to choose from when they are looking for something to spend their gold coins on. And actually, this kind of ties with the Dreadening deck for most exciting, because this introduces to you a very easy way for you and your players to judge how they use weapons and armor. So first we get the 6 consumable items. We'll put those off to the side. And there we have it. Very simple, very easy to parse this information. Of course, the book does explain what all of these elements do mean. You have a beautiful picture of the item in question, as well as what it actually is, what kind of effect it bestows upon your hero, and you can interpret this however you wish. For HeroQuest, I'm going to interpret this as 1 additional defend die, as well as any icons down here that may further describe the properties of the item. For this wood buckler, we have shield. That is the basic armor subtype. Shields are one-handed items that can be paired with other one-handed items. Shield adds dice to your total defense score. I mean, simple enough, and at a glance you'll be able to see what each of these things are. Actually, there's lots of places that you can give a single glance and know exactly what it's good for, what it is, what it does, but it goes on from there. We have the wood tower shield, which is worth 2 defense dice. However, it is heavy. Movement is -3 when this shield is equipped. The steel kite shield, the spiked buckler, the leather helmet, and this one is given a subtype icon of a helmet to let us know that is how we equip it. Steel helmet. Now you might have noticed the number in the lower right hand corner of the card, and this one in this case says 115. This does mean that this is the 115th unique card in the overall run of Advanced Armory cards. I've only drawn about 8 or 9 cards. This is like the 9th or 10th card that I've drawn, but there would be actually 114 cards before this. I've placed these cards in order, and there are a ton, if the numbers are any indication, ton of different cards that you could have ordering one of these boxed sets or opening up Advanced Armory Hero Draft booster packs. So you have the ability to get quite a few of these and open them all up and get a lot of different unique things. It truly is a ton of stuff here. Just this interested me. There's leather armor, and while these 2 pieces of equipment are functionally identical, they have different aesthetics applied to them. So we have a very much female leather armor, and then one that's very bland and flat. And because the second one has a card number of 131, I'm kind of given to believe that there's maybe 15 variants of leather armor, but I could be wrong. Chainmail, and here we have a new icon that we haven't seen yet. Resist trap. Ignore trap damage on a roll of 5 or 6. Some of the cards are a bit more stylized. We've got this nice icy motif going around this card. It's the cold iron half plate, and this blue axe icon indicates that it is cold iron, just in case the title of the equipment didn't give that away. Now we're getting into weapons territory, and this has features that I can definitely appreciate as well. Before we get too much further, I'm going to keep handy the icon index. This is a double-sided fold-out reference sheet. I was actually sent 2, but it would be a good idea for each player to have a copy of one of these. It explains what all of the different icons on the cards mean. And we'll need that now because we're getting into the weapons. So this has a lot of features that I really appreciate, from the visuals to the included icons to the actual range of where you can and cannot attack with this item. This is really, at a glance, for those players on grid boards, exactly how to use this without question. In this example here, this is a thrown item. The green spaces indicate where you can make a short-range attack against targets that are adjacent to your current position, and the yellow spaces indicate where you can make a thrown attack against targets within line of sight and not adjacent to your current position. Now, it's really interesting that this dagger just has one skull icon. The skull icon, according to the icon index, just says replace your base attack score with the number of dice shown. However, it doesn't have any sort of difference between whether you are using it as a melee weapon or as a ranged weapon. In other words, it's one die, no matter what you do. To explain the other icons here, the hat means mage friendly. All spellcasters may use or equip this item without penalty or restriction. The hand with kunai icon here means thrown item. This is expended when it is thrown. And the green icon here, the hand holding the sword, just means that this is a one-handed weapon. So all the information you need about this item right here, including its value, which is 25 gold coins. We really do have a lot of variants of these daggers. Even though some of them are visually distinct or have different names, they are functionally identical. And then we do get on to new attributes. This is the double dagger, and it is functionally identical in every way except it offers you 2 of these attack dice instead of just 1. This next one is really cool. It is the Shadow Steel dagger. It just offers 1 attack dice though, but it has the additional property of being made of shadow steel, which could come in handy if you are trying to put together a shadow steel set and get the armor bonus that comes with having that. And again with the blood steel dagger. So it looks like all of the gear that is made up of special materials will have this motif around the border, which is a really, really cool feature. So skipping several until we get to the steel great axe, and this one allows us to see that we have 4 attack dice with this weapon. It is heavy, so movement is -1, and it has an attack range of 2 spaces in any orthogonal direction. This steel flail is interesting to me because of its 2 attack dice and because of its complete adjacent attack, either orthogonal or diagonal, all around your hero. Finally, I've come across a pure ranged weapon. It is 3 attack dice, this wooden longbow, and it can only be used as a ranged weapon. It cannot attack orthogonally or diagonally adjacent. This new icon here tells us that this is an item that expends ammunition when it is used. Now, that is if you are also using the optional ammunition system, which is also something that you can get from Advanced Armory. I've gotten to a new type of item. It is a backpack. This well-crafted leather pack is tailor-made for active adventurers, explorers, academics, and heroes of all types. While equipped, your inventory limit is increased by 15. That's right. This system also gives you an optional encumberment system. The icon here means that it's an accessory for your back. Something you don't have to use, but if you wanted to incorporate it into your game, you can. This has to do with the ammunition system I mentioned earlier. This is an archer quiver. The style of leather container is worn across the back and is designed to hold an assortment of ammunition. It holds up to 30 arrows or bolts and up to 3 different types. Need to add even more features to your game? You can put in this potion utility belt. This leather utility belt is designed for easy access to an assortment of potions while on the move. Attach up to 6 potions here. They do not count against your inventory limit, and they may be used by you on any turn. Perhaps you would like to have items that are utility only, and for that we have something like the lantern. A quality candle lantern made of wood and iron enables you to see normally in natural darkness. This is kind of one of the things that supports the idea that you could find a way to use these pretty seamlessly with a game like Warhammer Quest. Warhammer Quest, you are required to have a leader of the party carrying a lantern in order to be able to lead the party through the dungeon, and that leader cannot be more than one room away from party members, or else they lose the light of that lantern and are lost in the dungeon forever. That is a rule that you could implement in any of your 1 to 5 player dungeon crawling tabletop games, including HeroQuest. You could have a quest where the hero has a lantern, this lantern, and the other heroes cannot stray too far from that light source or they will be lost in the dungeon forever. You could of course have more than one lantern that you encounter throughout the quest and really change things up. Fur boots, wool hood, leather cloak. There's just so much here. Loving the dwarven boots +2 to movement, and the chain boots. Once per quest you may re-roll 1 defend die. So this here is card 613, so that should give you an indication of what we're dealing with here in terms of scope and scale. No need to worry about scale creep. It's already at its maximum. Alright, a lot of you who frequent the old inn know about the Zargon deck. It's a deck that I haven't been able to create for myself or get anybody to make and send to me just yet. Something that I definitely want to have at some point, just because it seems to be a mainstay. It seems to be a bit of a classic in the homebrew scene for HeroQuest. But one thing that I think is a suitable alternative to that is the Dreadening deck. This is the deck for the evil wizard player to draw from, and depending on the result, your heroes could have a minor inconvenience kind of challenge that happens on top of all of the other things that they're dealing with in the dungeon, or this could mean the difference between life and death. It really just depends on what kind of a challenge you're looking for, and if you acquire the Dreadening deck and go through all of the cards, you can remove the ones that you don't want to have in certain quests or in certain games or in certain sessions or with certain parties of adventurers. Anyway, I'll go through these in order. We have Elite Horde. The greenskins guarding this dungeon are experienced and prepared. You are in for a challenge, my friends. All goblins and orcs gain +1 body. You can interpret this easily for any of the games that you have that use orcs. I've got Dark World, I've got HeroQuest, I've got Dragon Strike. All of these games use orcs. I'm pretty sure I have orcs in Legend of Zagor. You could even use this in Battle Masters somehow, but that's pretty much it. If you draw this card, all of your orcs and goblins have +1 body. Now there are several different Elite Horde cards, but they all do different things. This one allows all of the goblins and orcs to gain +1 attack. This one allows them all to gain +1 defense, and this one allows them to gain +4 movements. This last Elite Horde card gives all of the goblins and orcs the ability to wander in groups of 3 in this dungeon. So the way that I would use this is, if you're playing HeroQuest and the wandering monster is a goblin, well, this card means that there will be 3 of them. But any sort of monster generation system, when you unlock a new room or something, such as in Warhammer Quest or Advanced HeroQuest, you could find a way to incorporate this and have basically all of your greenskins be tripled. It sounds like a nightmare for Warhammer Quest, so please don't do that. I don't want to run into 36 goblins, please. That's not all. Now we're at the Nightmare Horde, and this variation of the Elite Horde gives all goblins and orcs +2 body. The next one is +2 attack, +2 defense, +6 movement, and goblins and orcs wander in groups of 5 in this dungeon. Nightmare indeed. This card, if drawn, presents the Orc Shaman. These orcs are far cleverer than the usual lot, and I sense a strong connection to the ether. Be very wary, my friends. Orcs in this dungeon are trained in the mystic arts. They have +4 mind and may each cast 1 fire spell. So interpret that how you wish, but if you have fire spells in your game, then your orcs are now able to cast it if you draw this card and if your dungeon has orcs. We've got the Goblin Cut Purse, and I like goblins, so I'm going to stop on this one. These troublesome goblins are trained well in stealth, escape, and thievery. Each time a goblin wounds its target, they lose 1 card from their inventory chosen at random instead of taking damage. If the goblin escapes line of sight of all heroes, it is removed from the board along with any stolen items. The Blackwater Cultists, and this has got a picture of a very, very fishy, eldritch, abomination type monster. So you could use that with any of your non-orc, non-goblin, non-undead. We now have the Elite Undead cards, and this goes right into the Nightmare Undead cards. Those pretty much follow suit mechanically with the greenskin related cards. Spontaneous Resurrection is really awesome. When a skeleton is slain, lay it down. On its next turn, it rolls a d6, and on a 6, the skeleton gets back up. On any other result, it is removed. Zombie Rot, Cursed Loot, Elite Warriors, and Nightmare Warriors are even more variations on challenges that have been presented. The Wandering Nightmare. Only gargoyles wander these halls. This is one of my favorite. It is Dangerous Environment. The dungeon is alive. All furniture in this dungeon is a mimic. They may attack diagonally. Once a mimic is defeated, the furniture object remains and is inactive. If the heroes ask if it is dead, smile evilly and say nothing. Furniture mimics have a movement of 0, so they have to stay where they are. Attack of 3, defense of 2. I would say 2 hit points, B2, and then M1 would be 1 mind point or magic point. Love this one as well. The Dangerous Environment card, Flooded Dungeon. All non-magical movement reduces by half. The monster wandering these halls now is a foul-feeted tentacle. Gross, and also really cool. We have Total Darkness, Arcane Capacitance. And then the last card you can draw in the Dreadening deck, card number D41, is the Champion of Evil. By the stars, what horror is this? I should have accompanied you. Die well, my friends. If this quest includes a named evil character or boss monster, double all stats on their profile. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much a complete tour of all of the materials that I was sent, except for the Hero Draft Booster Pack, and I'm going to open this now. I don't do a lot of card openings, so that's pretty exciting. Opened up very easily. It's very satisfying to open, and I'm actually going to keep this because I don't buy booster packs, but I will definitely keep this packaging because it's really, really nice, and it reminds me of my X-Men card opening days back when I used to purchase booster packs of the X-Men trading cards from Fleer back in 93 and 94. Those were the days. We get an Alchemist Shop card of a Last Chance Potion, and then for Advanced Armory, I got a Golden Buckler, a Leather Helmet, a Hermit Saber. That's pretty cool. One-handed, can attack diagonally and has 2 attack dice. Elven Longbow, love that. Nightmare Horde. Oh, we get Dreadening stuff too. That's really cool. So this is truly all kinds of stuff that could come in this pack. A Shadow Steel Dagger, a Goblin Shiv, a Dark Mithril Shortbow, Holy Water, a Silk Scarf. This is something pretty cool. When taking poison damage, you may attempt to resist it. Roll a d6. If the result is 5 or 6, the damage is ignored. The Relic Vampire Reaver. This must be a fated, very rare card. The last one is Dwarven Spear, but who cares about that when I've got a Vampire Reaver? This is 5 attack dice and can attack up to 2 squares away in any orthogonal direction. It's made of blood steel, but it is heavy. While this weapon is equipped, movement is -2, but who cares about that? I'm taking the Relic Vampire Reaver with me into the next dungeon, or the first dungeon that I use whenever I play a game using the Advanced Armory system. So once more, thank you very much to Flashhammer Creative Studios. I'm going to leave a link in the description below to their currently known storefronts so you can check them out at your leisure. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, brave heroes, and bye for now.